What is up, guys? It is Paralyzar, and today we're going to be talking about some macros and keybinds. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. It might take a little bit of time, but that's okay. Kind of inspired from Hansel's Mage video. But the first thing I want to talk about, because I recorded this already and I forgot to tell you guys about this, is have auto self-cast on. If you're going to follow these keybinds or this kind of idea, you want to have auto self-cast on. And what this will do is when this is enabled, friendly target spells that you use, such as Word of Glory or Hand of Freedom, if you don't have a friendly target selected, it will automatically cast out on you. So if you're in an arena and you're targeting a horde, and you use Hand of Freedom, it'll automatically put Hand of Freedom on you. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I want to kind of point this out because you're going to look at my bars and notice there's a lot of things in threes, and there's a reason for that. Because in arenas, 3v3, you have three people. You're a DPS, your healer, and yourself, right? Okay, so you're going to notice a theme with my key bindings is that for friendly abilities such as Bop, Hand of Freedom, Word of Glory, and Flash Heal, or Flash of Light, I had them in this order for a reason. Okay, so for Hand of Protection, this is a prime example. You're going to have Arena 1, or I tend to use names because it's a guaranteed ability user, especially as Rat. It's really nice to have that. You can use Arena 1 and 2. It's quicker to do it that way, but it's much safer to do it this way. You don't accidentally bop the wrong target. You're guaranteed to get it right every time. Okay. So you'll have Bop 1, which is your DPS, your fellow DPS, always. He's always Bop 1, so he'll always be Alt 1 in this sense. And then your healer is always going to be Alt 2 in this sense for Blessing of Protection, right? Or Hand of Protection. And then Alt 3 will be a Bop for yourself. Now it's important I show you this macro because this is also a cancel aura macro. So it'll cast Bop on me, and then if I need to take Bop off in 2 seconds because I'm topped off and have burst up, I just press Alt 3 again and it takes it off. Simple, right? Okay. So the same goes for Hand of Freedom. Hand of Freedom is very important. It's very important that you have this for your allies and for yourself. I've found myself using it a lot more for me lately unless I'm playing with a warrior, which I don't because I don't like the comp. Okay. So Hand of Freedom 1, which is Shift 1. Remember this theme I was talking about, 1, 2, 3. Shift 1 is going to be for my DPS. And then Shift 2 will be for my healer. And then Shift 3 will be for myself. Notice there's no macro for this one because I'll never have to take this off. And if I'm targeting an enemy, which I always am because I'm a melee paladin, I'll press Shift 3. And then Shift 4 is Emancipate. I like using Emancipate on Shift 4 because if I don't have Hand of Freedom, I can just start using Emancipate right off the bat. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so these are the macro key bindings that I'm talking about if you haven't noticed. Another ability that's kind of like those is Word of Glory. Word of Glory is very important. You got to have this macro for your teammates, right? So we'll look at this. It'll be Control 1 is for your DPS. Control 2 is for your healer, and then Control 3 is for yourself. And if you're in a battleground and you need to target heal someone, you can just click on them and then press Control 3, and it will heal them as long as you have them targeted. And I don't use mouse over macro. Someone had asked me that. I stopped using them last season. I only used it for fear. I don't use it for that anymore. I strictly macro everything. The only thing I've ever mouse over macroed was the pet fear, and that was because you had to. There was no actual target for that. So yeah. Control 4. Now, Control 4 is my Flash of Light, and then Control 5 is my DPS's, and then Control 6 is my healers. And yes, you're probably going Control 6. I have pretty big hands, therefore I use a big keyword like the Black Widow Ultimate. If you have small hands, I recommend getting a different, more compact keyboard. So Control 4 and then Control 5, Control 6. The reason Control 4 is going to heal me is because if I'm in an arena and I'm getting low, I can do something along these lines, where I press Control 4, Flash Heal, and then spam Control 3 and instantly heal myself and more. That's if I have 3 Holy Power. And that is how I live for a very long time in Arena. People always bitch about being able to kill me, and that's why. I fucking heal a lot. I do a lot of healing, but I also burst really hard, and I'll show you guys that as well. So those are my basic key bindings and macros for my allies. There are other macros that I can show you really quickly, such as Holy Prism. As you can see here, they're question marks because I don't have it talented at the moment. Basically, Holy Prism, I macro these just in case I have to have that extra bit of healing with my team. And then it follows that same order, though. Holy Prism 1, which is Shift F2, is going to be for my DPS. And then Shift F3 is going to be for my healer. And then Shift F4 will be for myself. Now, they would be Shift F1, but Shift F1 is actually my bubble. And then I have it macroed with Cancel Aura to take it off if needed. And you can see that here. Pretty simple, right? It's not hard, guys. And then things get a little more random. Definitely get a little more different. The first thing that I want to talk about offensively is my Rebuke Macro. You can find that here. And this is Arena 1, 2, and then 3, because this will always target your enemies, because this is an offensive ability. Get used to using these, are very important. Shift F is going to kick Arena 1. Shift G will kick Arena 2, and then Shift H will kick Arena 3. Now, I also have it set up to where Shift Z, V, and B will hodge 1, 2, and 3 arena enemies. And you can see that macro here. Or here, I guess. It'll be this one because it's Fist of Justice. So if I press Shift C, it'll hodge Arena 1. If I press Shift V, it'll hodge Arena 2. And then press Shift B, that'll hodge Arena 3. Again, it goes the same for Rebuke. If I Shift 1 or Shift F, it'll hodge Rebuke 1, and then Shift G, it'll Rebuke 2, then Shift H, it'll Rebuke 3. Holy shit, that is like a tongue twister from hell, man. I don't know why I can't say that, but apparently I can. Oh my god. Okay. So, that's pretty simple, right? Okay. Now, there are some abilities here that you're noticing are a little different. This is live recorded, so I don't actually know who this dude is. There are some abilities. Right now, I'm making a video right now, man. Okay. Alright, so there's some abilities that are kind of strung about, like Divine Shield is like Shift F1, and then Shift T will be Divine Protection. That's just, I'm used to these. And then I have a Death Adder, which is a 5-button gaming mouse, which has mouse button left, mouse button right, middle click, and 2 side buttons. The first side button will use my Badge of Victory. The second side button will use Inquisition. And that's just because I like it like that. You don't have to. If you have a Naga, you can set it up like that as well. You can also use your Naga for all of these keybinds if you wanted to. Just, it's up to you. For instance, if you have a Naga, you can shift 1, 2, and 3 on the side, and that'll do your freedoms. And then you can control 1, 2, and 3 on the side, and that'll do your Word of Glory. It makes it easy. I don't like the Naga, I think. I've always said this. You play faster with your fingertips, right? You do everything faster with your fingertips. A good phrase here is, why don't you type a sentence with your fingers and then type a sentence with your thumbs and see what comes out faster. I've always said that. I don't like Nagas. A lot of people use them. I don't. Okay. So we've talked about all the 1, 2, 3, or CVB, or FGH macros, the 3 in a row. And that'll help you a lot as a paladin with your teammates and with enemies in an arena. You can also make focus macros. I stopped doing that. I don't think it's needed anymore because a lot of my abilities that I'm going to be focusing with are going to be Hodge, which you can do Control 1 through 3, or Shift C, V, and B, and then Kick, which is F, G, and H. Shift F, G, and H. And that's really about it, right? Unless you do a Fear, in which case I would make a focus ability. And then the 2 other macros I didn't talk about are Sacrifice, and I use my healer because you're going to be sacrificing your healer the most to get him out of CC. I put him as R, and then my DPS is V. I've done it like that for a long time. That's how I like to do it. Then the more thrown about add-ons or macros or keybinds or whatever is my Every Man for Himself. That's F1. Middle click is Guardian. Shift Z is my belt so I can run fast. You can see the nitro boost. Control V is Turn Evil, which you don't need anymore. It's kind of junk. And then a mouse button down. Shift mouse button down is Hand of Protection. Or, sorry, what's it called? Hand of Purity. And then shift mouse button up, I have a macro for Hand of Purity 1, which would be for my DPS. Hand of Purity 2 would be for my healer. You can't use that on yourself, just like Sacrifice. You can't use it on yourself. So yeah, and then shift mouse button is my middle mouse button. So that's kind of the general idea here. 1 through 6 are my big damage abilities. Those are going to be the ones I'm using a lot. 1 is Judgment, so you need to catch up, right? 2 is Crusader Strikes. That's probably the second one you use, or Exorcism. And then once you use those 3 abilities, you'll have enough holy power to throw out a Templar's Verdict. And when you're ready to set up your burst, you can go ahead and use Execution Sentence on 5, and then pop your CDs and start throwing at them. And you'll notice I have Fist of Justice here. People have asked me about this, why I have this on my bar if I have 3 of them here. And I use this because if I'm in a battleground, I can just hodge someone, because these are macroed specifically for Arena 1, 2, and 3, which I can show you here, which I won't be able to use in a battleground. So it's kind of weird. And then you can kind of fit these to what you're looking to do. You don't have to use what I use. You can fit this to whatever you want. I'm just giving you the idea of using them in that 1, 2, 3 order, or CVB, or GHJ, or BNM. Like, you want to have that order for a paladin, to where your macros are very easy to use. So if I press Shift G or H, oops, that wasn't the right one, Shift G or H, it's gonna kick that target. Or if I press Hand of Freedom 1, 2, or 3, which is Shift 1, 2, and 3, it's gonna freedom whoever I press Shift 1, 2, or 3. And the same goes for Bob, Alt 1, 2, and 3. So 1 is DPS, 2 is healer, and then 3 is myself. It's kind of simple, but it does help a lot. And I highly recommend using it like that. Some of the stuff I didn't talk about because I didn't feel it was necessary, like mounts, Shift 6 and 7. I don't use mounts a lot, but because I have bigger hands, it's easier for me to just kind of Shift 6 and then do this. Just run around, you know? A lot of people ask me, do I run with mouse or do I run with keyboard? I actually run with both. I strafe with Q and E, and I turn with mouse like this. So I can do stuff like this and just kind of run in circles sideways. I like doing it. This is awkward. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so that's the kind of stuff you can do. There's some stuff thrown about. I'm sorry for that, but that 1, 2, 3 general idea is what I want you guys to grasp and keep in mind. It's going to help you a lot with macros. It's going to help you a lot with keybinds. It's going to really help you in every situation as far as arena goes, because using them binds is very important. The ones I would focus the most on are Fist of Justice, Word of Glory, Freedom, and Blessing of Protection. Also focus on your Hand of Sacrifices. All of the arena partner stuff, and then the big offensive ones, such as Hodge. I don't know if I talked about these, but you can kind of put your blind wherever you want. I use mine as Shift upper side mouse button, and then devotion or Shift lower side mouse button. And my kick, if I'm targeting someone, like in a battleground, is T. I don't really use it a lot because I do a lot more arena than anything. So yeah. I do recommend having a rebuke just in case you're targeting the person and he's healing in your face. You do have a chance of kicking him like that, a lot better than with a macro or a keybind, because it's a little more awkward. So this is my general idea, and I really hope this helps one person. Just get in that use of 3 keybinds. You don't want to be using focus for your own teammates. You don't want to use mouse overs in arena, especially for your teammates, because it's just so much faster to bop someone without having to scroll over them. So someone had asked about me using mouse overs, and I really don't. And I apologize if it sounded a little blunt earlier. I've been recording this for like the last 2 hours. And as you can tell, my voice is killing it right now. I have to end this video because my throat actually is hurting. I've been talking like non-stop. I'm sorry. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I will see you next time. Much love, Paralyzar.